You're a disease, and I'm the cure. Hey, what's up? Improvement Warrior, Jason Yun, back with you again. Welcome to the next podcast, episode 21, Improvement Warrior Podcast. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, all that jazz. And this podcast is basically a webinar that I did earlier this morning for Salesforce, basically going over why food and exercise are not the main components for health. I was cut off a little bit to do a Q&A because I only had 30 minutes to do the webinar, and got through everything except for melatonin and sleep. But I will link up my sleep podcast so you can go over that if you have not listened to it, episode number 7. And the show notes for this episode will be at improvementwarriorfitness.com/Salesforce. Otherwise, enjoy the show. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. And if you do have questions about anything health related, please let me know. improvementwarrior@mail.com, or hit me up on social media where you should be following me. Otherwise, I will see you. Enjoy the webinar. Stay strong, stay positive, be the improvement warrior.
Hi guys, we have our guest speaker ready, Jason Yun from Improvement Warrior Fitness. He's an awesome coach. When I used to live in Columbus, he had his multiple locations. He had his studios where he has some fitness regimen as well as mainly diet, the food habits that he has inculcated. We have seen a lot of people within people that I know, friends who have transformed, have done a lot, and have lost a bunch of weight. So I would want him to come and share his knowledge and provide information about his program. And Jason, you can get started.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for having me, Shri. I really appreciate it. Again, my name is Jason Yun. I'm the owner of Improvement Warrior Fitness. I'm the creator of 47-day ketogenic diet challenge, 34-day light challenge, LBN online fitness. I don't consider myself a trainer or nutritionist anymore. I consider myself a quantum health coach or practitioner. Because that's the one thing that as I go through this presentation, you're going to learn. Just because you have a good diet practice or you work out does not mean you are healthy. There's quite a bunch of different other things that are going to affect your health. And again, I just have 30 minutes, so I'm not going to be able to cover everything. I will send Shri a document if you do want to dig further after the seminar webinar. So let's just get into it. I will try and have some time at the end for Q&A. So if you do have questions that pop up, just hold them until the end. All right. But nutrition is usually where people think health is. So I came up with a bunch of old rules that I consider old rules of nutrition that if you are following, you should probably stop following them. So old rules, you've got, the first one I have is protein, produce, and water with every meal. Eat smaller meals, 5 to 6 a day throughout the day to stoke your metabolism and become a fat-burning machine. Protein every 2 to 4 hours because your muscles will melt away because we don't have a storage site for protein. 5 a day for your fruits and vegetables to be healthy. You want to limit your intake of saturated fats. You want to choose complex carbohydrates like oatmeal, sweet potato, over simple processed sugar. Okay? So those are the old rules, and those are the rules that I consider crap. Okay. Now, what are the actual new rules and how they're going to make you better? Well, really have time to go into everything, but I will try and cover as I go through my presentation here. So the new rules, number one is eat. Yes.
One second. Yeah, Sri, you have something? Are you presenting something, Jason, or?
No, I just have a bunch of notes. I don't have a thing, so just pay attention. I find PowerPoints, most people just read ahead and they're not really listening and whatnot. So,
thank you.
So new rules of nutrition: eat seasonally and as locally as possible. So this is what is known as circadian nutrition. I'll talk about circadian and what that means and everything here in a little bit. Rule number two: sun is out, kitchen is open. Sun is down, kitchen is closed. When you eat is actually more important than what you eat. Number four, must finish eating at least 4 hours before you are asleep. Number five, you must be asleep by 11 p.m. Number six, DHA, seafood, is the number one food for a human to consume. And last one, water should be as cold as possible and fluoride free. So spring water, reverse osmosis, that kind of water. Just tap water is just absolute death. Okay, so that was the nutrition section. The fitness, exercise and fitness, a lot of people will, most trainers, nutritionists, they'll tell you it's all about fitness and nutrition. But I'm going to tell you a secret that pretty much every personal trainer and every nutritionist does not want you to know. And that is, you do not need to work out to lose weight. Okay, I'll say it again. You do not need to work out to lose weight. And if you are overweight or you have an energy problem, in most cases, you should not be working out. And it's a case-by-case basis, but certain types of exercise is going to hurt you more when you do have an energy problem or you are overweight. Most typical trainers, nutritionists that you will run into, they'll tell you it's 70 to 90% nutrition, and the rest is fitness. And that is incorrect. Okay. For somebody that is sick or has a disease or is overweight, and remember, obesity is a disease, then reversing your problem, fitness and nutrition is only going to account for less than 10%. And for a healthy person, it's going to be to maintain their health and move to a better place in their health. It's going to be somewhere between 10 to 20%. So nobody is fat or has a disease because they have a weight problem. It is because you have either a hormone problem, a light problem, or an environment problem, or it's usually all of those combined. So all of those are synonyms for a circadian disruption. So circadian biology is the number one factor for your health. Circadian biology was given the Nobel Prize in 2017. However, it is what basically created all of life, all the trees, all the animals, all the humans. Everything revolves around circadian biology. So basically think of it as a clock. So it's a 24-hour clock. Your circadian rhythm dictates when you're supposed to wake up, when you're supposed to go to sleep, when you're supposed to poop, when you're supposed to work out, or when is the best time to work out, when is the best time to eat, when certain hormones are supposed to turn on, when certain hormones are supposed to turn off, when your blood pressure is supposed to be highest, and then on and on and on and on. Basically, your circadian rhythm dictates. So, ladies, do you have a monthly cycle? Yes. Circadian biology rules the roost for health. So, and the number one thing that controls or dictates your circadian rhythm is light. I say it all the time, your light environment is more important than the food or exercise that you eat. So there's good light and there's bad light. More than likely, since you're all on a computer or you're all on a phone looking at me, and I didn't see too many people wearing blue blocking glasses. So these are the ones that I wear when I'm on my computer, because on my computer I have a program that protects me from the blue light being emitted. So it's called Iris, and basically my screen is red. I know you can't see it, but you can probably, I can show you what my phone looks like pretty much all day long. So there's no blue light in that phone. So blue light is one of the things, one of the top two things that is the major cause of all the diseases, all the modern man diseases that we see. So heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancers, all that stuff. Okay, so the good light is sunlight, or I'm sure you might have seen like red light therapy, red light panels. It's known as photobiomodulation. That is also a good light. With the bad light, or actually with the good and bad light, so inside, health starts basically in our eyes, and also disease starts in our eyes. So we have something known as the SCN. It's the suprachiasmatic nucleus. And basically it sits right behind the retina. And most people don't know that the retina is actually part of the brain and not part of the eye. So the suprachiasmatic nucleus is the master circadian clock. So it has to run faster than all the other clocks in your body. Otherwise, there's going to be cellular chaos, and that's when inflammation starts, and that's when disease starts. So it's said that we have a peripheral clock in front of every single gene that we have. And I've seen estimates from anywhere from 19,000 to 25,000 genes that we have. So basically, in our eye, in our skin, all over our body, in front of all of our organs, we've got these clocks that are supposed to be running properly. And if we are exposed to too much blue light, bad light, electro pollution, then that's when the clocks start to go haywire. And that's something we do not want, because that's when the diseases will start to show up. The first thing that will actually happen to you is you'll start to lose energy. So your body is always going to give you signs something is not right. So something's not right in my environment, something's not going on right. But the problem is, a lot of people, they will decide to ignore it, or they'll decide to get a pill, or they'll decide to find ways, non-natural ways to get that energy back. All right, so DHA. I talked about DHA. I said it's the #1 thing for humans to consume for health. Reason being is DHA showed up about 650 million years ago in the Cambrian explosion. And before that, there was just two kingdoms of life, prokaryotes and archaea. So basically single-celled, very basic, simple organisms. After the Cambrian explosion, that is when complex life started. The other thing that showed up with DHA was oxygen. So super, super important. DHA is basically, DHA needs oxygen, oxygen needs DHA in order to function properly. But the problem is, a lot of people don't eat DHA, they don't eat seafood, they don't like seafood. I don't recommend fish oil due to the fact that the DHA that you consume from seafood is in the SN2 position. Most fish oils are in SN1 or SN3. And when it is in those positions, it doesn't get into the brain, it doesn't get into the central nervous system, it doesn't get into the peripheral nervous system. And so it doesn't do what we need it to do, basically. The people that always say, I don't like seafood, I don't like to do this, I don't like to do that, I always say, nature doesn't care about your wants, your desires, your preferences, or your beliefs. It will take you out if you are not following her rules, basically. So one of the big things with DHA is it helps us catch electrons.
And now a quick message from one of our sponsors.
Got workouts? I do. I believe everybody should have their own home gym because working out under blue light and Wi-Fi can be detrimental to your health. My online workout program, LBN Online Strength and Fitness Workouts, makes working out from home a cinch. Or you can even take the workouts anywhere you go in the world. With over 300 follow-along workouts with me in 15 different workout genres from pre-beginner all the way to advanced, working out at home has never been easier. I show you how to do each exercise, the equipment needed for each workout, and ways to make it easier, harder, or work around an injury. Check it out today at lbnonlinefitness.com and start your free trial today.
So electrons are basically free energy. If you have a personal trainer or you have a nutritionist just talking about fats, carbs, proteins, water, okay, maybe if they're a little bit more educated, they'll talk to you about sleep. If they're only talking to you about that, then that is an issue because all foods, all carbohydrates, all fats, they break down to electrons. And when they do break down to electrons, they go through a process in the mitochondria known as electron chain transport. And there's 5 cytochromes that they move through. Once they move through those, they reduce to oxygen, where they can make more electrons, and then they just compete or continue the cycle. And so the big problem with certain diseases is the electron chain transport slows down. People aren't getting enough electrons. They're disconnected from the earth. So I always say, take your shoes off. They'll make you sick. The best way to get electrons is basically just connecting your bare feet to the grass, to the cement, water. If it's a natural body of water, beaches are the best place to get electrons. I am actually grounded right now, so I have a grounding cord here. It just plugs in and basically it plugs in to the outside. Every single disease and ultimately death is a lack of electrons. So I told you electrons are basically free energy. If you are overweight or you have a disease, it means you have lost too many electrons and you have too many protons. So protons are basically, they have a positive charge, electrons have a negative charge. And basically anything that's getting bigger is losing energy. And Einstein always says, life is energy, energy is life. If you don't have energy, you're going to do everything that you possibly can to get it. So coffee, energy drinks, simple carbohydrates, donuts, bagels, bread, all that stuff, because it basically gives us a quick energy boost. Okay? But it's only short-lived, and it does damage to our body, our biology, and our mitochondria. All right. So I got about 10 minutes here. I'll try to finish up real quick and leave some room for questions. Remember, everything I'm covering, I'm going to send Shri a document on if you want to take a little deeper dive on everything. So vitamin D. Most people know vitamin D is very, very important. And then you're also getting contradictory information about the sun being bad. Every single cancer is associated with a low vitamin D status. They say you have to have optimal vitamin D levels is over 60 or above. And I always say you have to know your unsupplemented vitamin D levels because that will tell you if your environment basically sucks. So if you're taking a vitamin D supplement, I would recommend stopping now and then 3 months later testing it. If it's under 60, it's an indication that your environment is bad, and if things don't start to change, then bad things are really going to happen. The major diseases are going to be popping up. So heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's, osteoporosis, all those things. Yeah, I did a whole, so I have my own podcast. It's called Improvement Warrior Podcast. I did a whole podcast on how vitamin D is made and all that. So the big thing with vitamin D supplement, well, anything your body makes. So if your body makes it, you're not designed to take it. And if you take a vitamin D supplement, it's going to hurt your ability to naturally make vitamin D from the sun. And the sun is the only thing that can make sulfated vitamin D, which is what we need to basically use it properly. All right, leptin. Most people haven't heard of leptin, or if they have, they just relate it to food, which is incorrect. Leptin is your master hormone. It is basically the controller of all metabolism in the body, and it's basically, it wants to tell you the energy status of the body. So if somebody, say a diabetic, they have a problem with insulin, and most nutritionists are going to try to cure that insulin resistance. However, leptin resistance would have shown up first before insulin resistance. So the main thing is to fix your leptin, you fix your insulin resistance. Okay? If you are overweight, you have leptin resistance. If you have low energy, you have leptin resistance. I have done 3 total leptin webinars. I'll send them over to Shri on the document. Highly recommend watching it. Basically, it tells you what leptin is, what it does. For you ladies out there, it actually selects the egg that is supposed to be, if you're in baby age range, it will select that egg. If it is sensing a bad environment, it's going to select a bad egg. So I'm sure most people want to have a good egg, and so they have a strong, healthy super baby, basically.
Awesome. Time check, Jason, we are at 9:23. I think we have covered a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
We should start giving opportunity to questions.
Okay.
We can get started with Q&A.
Cool.
Guys, questions. So I have a question. When you say vitamin D is very important and the main source of, instead of taking pills, it's better to do, get it from the sun. What is the best time to get vitamin D? When do we need to walk in or?
Yeah. With vitamin D, there's an app that I recommend for everybody. It's called D-Minder. And it basically tells you, based on your location, your latitude, it'll tell you when vitamin D shows up, when it disappears, how much you're making per minute, or actually per second, it'll tell you. And yeah, so that's a good way to do it. It'll tell you when UV light shows up. The best thing to do with the sun is, because when vitamin D is out, usually that's stronger UV. So you need to build up what I call a solar callus. And basically the best way to do that is sunrise. So the best light, the best health hack, the real natural morning coffee is sunrise. So sunrise, early AM sun, and then later PM sun is how you build that solar callus. Because normally it's supposed to rain today and it's really cloudy. Usually I would be outside. I would set my office up outside and I'd be outside basically 10, 12 hours a day, because I have a huge solar callus, and as you can tell, I'm pretty tan. So, but I mean, obviously the winter, it goes away. But
Ben, you have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Gosh, I could ask questions for an hour. I'll try to limit it. So if we, in terms of exercise, then, like for example, going for walks, what would you recommend in terms of period of time over a course of a week? And then I had a second question, but yeah, that's the first question.
Are you talking just exercise in general, or walking, or?
Any form of physical activity, yeah.
Well, I always say I have a rule called the rule of 3 by 52. So that's 3 strength workouts per week, 52 weeks out of the year. So, and then if you want to add other types of workouts, so strength training, weight training is going to be the best for you. It's going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. You don't need to do it too long. My classes are basically 45 minutes. Typically, I'm strength training probably five days a week, anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day during that. As far as walking, I mean, you can do that as much as you can. Obviously, early morning is best. I do see you have glasses. If you can do it, no sunglasses, no contacts, no glasses, so the sun can actually get into your eye. Sunglasses are actually one of the worst things for your health because they destroy your circadian biology. They're telling you it's nighttime, so certain hormones will start to kick on, and yeah, so it's the complete opposite of what you want to do.
Yeah, super helpful. Second question, then are you suggesting no multivitamins, no fish oils, and then in terms of drinks, nothing but water, basically? Is that like, so no coffee, soda, juice, even sparkling water?
Yeah, you can do sparkling water. Water is what I recommend best. If you can put like a lemon or lime in it for the vitamin C, that would be good. But if somebody is a coffee drinker, I highly recommend like switching 1 week regular, another week decaf or tea, and just keep switching back and forth through there. And then, yeah, other drinks. I mean, I drink tea, I drink sparkling water, I drink just the water in my cooler is pretty much, it's a gallon jug. I usually drink probably 100 to 140 ounces of water per day. So it just depends on your environment and whatnot.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
I have a follow-up question, just cutting in, sorry. How much water can we drink per day? I mean, what is the recommended level of water?
The eight glasses of water a day is a good start. However, it's only a start. So I say most people, they want to be up to at least, or get up to at least half their body weight in ounces. But obviously do it over the course of weeks, possibly a couple months, because otherwise you'll be in the bathroom a lot. And yeah, so like I said, I weigh 175 pounds, but I'm drinking anywhere between 100 to 140, 150 ounces a day. It depends on your activity level, how much you sweat, and it also depends on your electro pollution, your non-native EMF environment. So are you working under Wi-Fi, or are you working under blue lights? So those are the things that are going to dehydrate you the quickest and the fastest.
Any questions? Does anybody have anything else that you want to check on? So we are on time. I think we made it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you for coming over and speaking for us. These are really good information that we gathered. Please share your details. I'll pass it along. Jason has a specific philosophy that is alternative to what is a mainstream fitness. But some of things that he has explained, like vitamin D and water intake, things that are that can be inculcated in our daily lives, can help us get much better without much effort. So that is something that we can take on from this session today. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good rest of the day. Good day.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Jason.
Thank
Bye.
You. Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
If you are looking for a quick and easy guide on how to get started with improving your health to optimal, then check out my free guidebook, Improvement Warrior Mitochondriac. A 17-step guidebook going over everything from the sun to melatonin to water to cold exposure to electropollution and much, much more. It can get quite confusing listening to multiple health coaches, blogs, podcasts, videos, etc., especially with where to start and where to go next. Check out the guidebook at improvementwarriorfitness.com/mitochondriac. Just mitochondria with a C at the end.
We are always looking for ratings for the podcast. It helps my podcast be found by others looking to improve their life and health, as well as it helps us get ranked higher. So please help us out so that I may continue bringing this life-changing podcast to you and others around the world. Just go to the leave a review section of your favorite podcast listening app and let us know what you think. 5 stars is preferred, but please be honest. Thank you in advance.